Hey guys, NASCAR Mobile 48 back again. Welcome back to another NASCAR video. In today's video, it is that time of year again. You guys remember around last year, this part of the year, we reacted to every single or almost every single NASCAR throwback in trucks, Xfinity, and Cup. And God bless the United States, that video was like almost an hour long, so I regret doing that and stuff. It was really fun to make and stuff, you know, reacting to all these paint schemes here and there and picking out my favorite from the trucks and Xfinity and Cup. This year we're just gonna stick it out to Cup. I mean, there have been some good throwbacks and stuff for Xfinity and trucks that I just can't really point out in a span of what, less than an hour and stuff. So this time we're just gonna be reacting to the ones in Cup. But if you guys would like me to react to trucks and Xfinity, let me know down in the comment section below. Let me know if you want me to react to them this year or next year. Most likely next year would be the one happening and stuff. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna be getting ready to react to all these throwback paint schemes for the Cup Series. We're gonna go in numerical order and stuff. I'll be giving a rating out of 10, and then finally I'll be picking out which ones are my favorite or my top 3 favorite at the end. So let's go ahead, dive on into this video. So kicking it off at number 1, we have Ross Chastain and we have Daniel Suarez. So these two are both running throwbacks to Dale Jr. and to Dale Earnhardt Sr. when they both ran their Coca-Cola schemes during the 1998 exhibition race back in Japan. So right here we have Ross Chastain. He's throwing it back to Dale Jr. with that number 1 scheme, and oh my goodness, this car, fantastic. It's definitely right on. And then you have the slanted number, which in an honest way kind of goes with it. And it's really cool that they were both able to have Coca-Cola on there, because, you know, Daniel Suarez, he's a Coca-Cola racing driver, so really cool for Coca-Cola to be on both drivers and stuff. That Chastain car looks really good. I like the nice black. They have a nice little checkered style look on the side of the car and a bit of an iceberg, I believe that looks like, and they have the nice Coca-Cola symbol. It is a very hot looking car in my opinion. And then moving on to Daniel Suarez, it's a throwback to Dale Earnhardt Sr. and stuff, and this one also looks really good as well. It looks very accurate, and they have the number font really right and stuff. But I do remember someone pointing out on Twitter that Teresa came to town, the Wicked Witch of the South, and Trackhouse had to put their signature slant on the number 1 of Chastain just for an upgrade. So I'm pretty sure they had to do the same thing for Daniel Suarez. So of course we can't stop the Wicked Witch and stuff, but hey, these paint schemes still look amazing. I like the Chastain one better than the Suarez one in my opinion. Suarez, I like his mostly because it's accurate. It's very accurate. The paint scheme in my opinion looks decent, but it's the accuracy to it is definitely the better one right there. So for Chastain, I'll have to give him a good solid 9 out of 10. This is a really cool scheme. And then for Suarez, I'll give him it's pretty basic and stuff, so I'll give him a 6 out of 10. Not a terrible score, but I'll give him a 6 out of 10 just for now and stuff. So anyway, let's keep on going. Next up, we have Austin Cindric. His is a throwback to Rusty Wallace. So the design of the scheme is, you know, like I said, to Rusty Wallace, because the old car featured Kodak branding, but then the color scheme has been adjusted, you know, to fit the new sponsor, you know, with Menards and stuff. And to be honest, if they would have just gotten like the color scheme right, it would kind of make sense, but they have their own look, and it doesn't really look that cool. I mean, it's kind of like that Ricky Stenhouse Jr. stupid tie throwback, somewhat of a throwback to Ricky Craven last year, to where if you just have that scheme as itself and don't call it a throwback, then I'd say, okay, the scheme actually looks pretty decent. But if you're trying to tell me this is a throwback, I couldn't tell who you're trying to throw it back to, because look at that design. I mean, how are you supposed to guess that? Seriously. So this one, I mean, the design on it looks cool and stuff, but just trying to say it's a throwback kind of throws me off and stuff. So for Austin Cindric, I'll give him a 5 out of 10. Right here we have Kevin Harvick's Chasing a Cure for Cancer throwback scheme. Right here it says 500th race as a NASCAR sponsor for Ream, so that's actually pretty cool. Supporting St. Jude Children's Hospitals, pretty in pink. 15th anniversary of Ream in NASCAR, and it's the first time Harvick's ran this since what, 2012 and stuff. So to be honest, the scheme looks pretty good. I really do like it and stuff. It does look pretty nice. It's not really that much of a throwback. I haven't really seen what the original one looks like for Kevin Harvick and stuff, because like this is just a chasing a cure paint scheme that Harvick ran back in what, 2011 and 2012. So I'll have to look at the original, but this one by itself, it looks pretty good. I actually kind of like it and stuff. They have the nice perfect placement for Ream, and then they have the 4 right next to it, so it's actually pretty good looking in my opinion and stuff. So honestly, I'm gonna give Harvick I'm gonna give him an 8 out of 10. It actually looks really good in my opinion, but I need to see how it looks based off the original back in 2012. Next up, we have Kyle Larson, who's throwing it back to Tim Richmond. It looks really good. This one looks really good. I like the nice star right there. The 5 is very accurate. You have HendrickCars.com back on here and stuff. They had a pretty decent throwback with Larson last year. This one is better in my opinion. I like the number placement and stuff with this one. Just the font on it looks pretty good, and it looks really accurate to the one that I just saw and stuff. So for this one, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. This also actually no, I'll probably give it an 8. Yeah, it's a pretty decent one. I'll give it an 8, and stuff. And also for the Harvick one, I took the look at the 2012 one, and it doesn't look exactly what this one looks like that Harvick's running and stuff. So for throwback, I'll have to knock Harvick's score back to like a 7, since it's not really that much of a throwback, but it's still a pretty decent looking car. Now right here we have Brad Kizlowski throwing it back to Mark Martin, and this car looks pretty accurate. It looks really good in my opinion. The thing that kind of throws me off with this one is that you have like this big blue space right here, and you could just kind of put the 6 in there, but I'm not sure if NASCAR would let that slide and stuff, because it's a bit iffy for NASCAR. I was a bit iffy coming in for this throwback weekend, because you know the numbers cannot be moved back for any throwbacks and stuff, and so you're having to deal with this and stuff, so it kind of throws me off. So it's not a Kizlowski thing, it's kind of just a NASCAR thing, but this one is very accurate. It does look really hot in my opinion and stuff. So for Brad K, you're having a bad season already, but I'm just gonna have to give you a good score, so I'm gonna give Brad Kizlowski a nice solid 8 out of 10 in my opinion. Next up we have Corey LaJoie throwing it back to Marty Robbins, and beautiful. This one is beautiful. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I like this one. The reason I don't give it a 10, actually, I might just give it a 10. Well, I'm gonna give it a 9 because pink and yellow aren't really my colors and stuff. Well, yellow's kind of my color, but pink is not really that much of my color. But I'm gonna give it a strong 9 because it looks really good. And Marty Robbins ran a 777, and I like how they add the 2 7s down there and stuff. So it's very good looking and stuff. They have Corey LaJoie's name. It is very accurate. This is a beautiful, hot looking car. Spire, you did it right for the 7 car. You did it right. Next up, Chase Celia. He is throwing it back to Jimmy Means back in 1993. Car is also very accurate. Got the nice silver number. I'm not sure if it's going to be chrome. I haven't really checked. But throwing it back to Jimmy Means. This car is very accurate. I do like it. The design on it, it's pretty decent. I'll say it's decent. The one thing that kind of throws me off is kind of the silver number and stuff. So if it's like reflected and stuff, because this is just a render and stuff, then we'll see. But this is a pretty good looking scheme in my opinion. So for Ellie, I'll give him a nice solid 8 out of 10. It's a very solid throwback for Chase Elliott. Next up right here we have Denny Hamlin throwing it back to his own Daytona 500 win and stuff. The only reason that he's doing that is because Toyota is celebrating their 1500th race, and in doing so, Hamlin is throwing it back to his own paint scheme from the 2016 Daytona 500. Even though the numbers slip forward, I like it. I really do like this one, because when I saw this on Instagram, I was like, this honestly looks hot. So I'm gonna give Hamlin a 10. Even though he's having a bad season and he's only had 1 top 10, I'm gonna give him a 10 out of 10. I actually really do like this one. And so because this was technically the first race I've ever seen watching TV as a full-time NASCAR fan, and I saw this car go to victory lane and stuff, and it looks different now, but it actually honestly looks pretty good like this one. If they ran this as their primary for the rest of the season, I'd be so happy to see that. But this is a really cool throwback in my opinion, so I'm gonna give Hamlin 10 out of 10. This is awesome. Next up, we have Chase Briscoe's Mahendra Tractors throwback. So this is a throwback to Tony Stewart when he ran the scheme during the 2001 Indy 500, and that day he became the first driver to run the Indy 500 and the Coke 600 in the same day. So this is actually pretty legendary in my opinion for Stewart-Haas Racing, mostly for Tony Stewart, because you're throwing it back to a time where he ran 2 races in the same day, and those are both really like big races in America, Indy 500 and the Coke 600 and stuff. It's kind of weird seeing this because it's hard to get an Indy paint scheme onto a NASCAR one, see how it actually looks. All it has is just like the red and this little like splash of lightning. This is actually giving me some Lightning McQueen vibes, ka-chow and stuff. So, but this is actually pretty cool. I like the red base and I love the Lightning McQueen vibes Briscoe's giving me. So I'm gonna give him a nice solid 7 out of 10, a nice solid 7. Next up, we have Chris Buescher's throwback to Matt Kenseth's 2004 paint scheme. This one is great. I already know Eric Eastep's going bonkers over this one. He wants to see this car in victory lane. And heck, it's also fitting for Matt Kenseth. He just made it into the Hall of Fame. It was announced yesterday, so congrats to Matt Kenseth. Apparently, he was out doing yard work while his wife was watching it on her phone inside, so that's pretty funny. But still, Matt Kenseth, this is a really cool throwback Chris Buescher is doing and stuff. The number, perfect. It's the exact same. The scheme looks pretty good. In my honest opinion, the scheme look and stuff, it's not my personal favorite. It kind of looks a bit weird to me and stuff, but some others would say it looks great. This one looks pretty solid in my opinion. So for this one, I'm also give it a 7 out of 10. It's nice fitting and stuff. I don't really think it's my favorite and stuff because yellow and black, I can go with the yellow black paint scheme. It's just the design on it, in my opinion. It's not really one of my personal favorites, but for throwback, but if we're just talking about like throwback, perfect 10 out of 10. You guys really did it. But in my opinion, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I'm not gonna give it a terrible score, but I feel like I should give it a higher one. So actually, yeah, I'm gonna stick with 7. It's a really nice, solid scheme. Next up, we have Kyle Busch throwing it back to Ernie Irvin's, I believe it's 1998 paint scheme for M&Ms and stuff. I forgot what year it was, but if you guys don't know the story behind this, Mars is leaving NASCAR at the end of this year, and this is a throwback to their very first NASCAR sponsorship back in 1998. So yeah, I think this was, the 1998 car that Ernie Irvin ran and stuff. It's really good. I like the cartoonish looking M&Ms guy right there. Got the little mini M&Ms right there. Got a nice little streak right here. It looks really good right here. And then the perfect size, like 18 and stuff. I really do like this one. The only problem that I don't like about this thing is that it's kind of bland and stuff. You only have the M&Ms on the bottom, and that's kind of it and stuff. So in my opinion, it kind of looks a bit bland, but it still looks like a pretty decent, fun looking paint scheme or throwback in my opinion. So for Kyle Busch, I'll give him a nice solid 6 out of 10. A nice 6. Next up, we have Christopher Bell throwing it back to his 2017 NASCAR Truck Series Championship, and this scheme returns to the Cup Series to honor, Toyota's 1500 race and stuff. And you have some Toyota drivers throwing it back to themselves. This one, in my opinion, I don't like it and stuff. The number placement is key and stuff, and this looks very different from a truck onto a cup car and stuff. And yeah, just the number placement. I mean, literally, this part of the scheme is literally being covered up by the 20 and stuff. And so, in my honest opinion, it's kind of a fail and stuff, because we've had a history of some drivers throwing it back to themselves, and it just has not worked out and stuff. And mainly for some SHR for JGR drivers, like, do you remember what Christopher Bell threw it back to his own truck that won the championship in the 95 car back in 2020, and some fans didn't like it and stuff. I mean, it looked better than this thing and stuff, in my opinion. So for Christopher Bell, I'm sorry, my guy, but I'm gonna have to give you I'm giving you a 2 out of 10. This is actually just this is like by far the worst one I've seen so far. Next up, we have Harrison Burton throwing it back to his dad, Jeff Burton, his X-Side scheme that Burton ran back in 2000. This one is very accurate. This is so far have been the most retro paint scheme or throwback I've seen so far. This one is beautiful. It's amazing. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I'm just trying to link up. I'm gonna give like the high score a 9 just to link it up and stuff to decide at the end which one's my favorite. This one, it's very accurate. It's very retro and stuff. I love the colors that Dex went with and stuff. It looks very good. I wish they could have made the 21 a bit like the number font for the 99 and stuff, but I'm not sure. This could be just a render, so I'm not sure if this is what they will have actually for the race on Sunday and stuff, but it's a very beautiful looking paint scheme. So 9 out of 10 once again. well done for Harrison Burton. But how about like next year, let's give Harrison Burton to throw back to someone else. Let's not always have him throw back to his dad. We can have him throw back to his dad a couple times, but not every single year, because that would be boring. Now, next up on the list, we have Joey Logano. So basically, Shell is celebrating 10 years with Joey Logano, so they surprised him with a throwback to his quarter midget car. And quarter midgets, it's also another thing, trying to get a paint scheme on a quarter midget onto a NASCAR car. It's somewhat similar to what Ryan Newman did back, in 2020 and stuff. And that scheme looked okay, it just wasn't really my favorite. So this one, it's okay, it's pretty decent one. I mean, the paint scheme looks pretty good, to be honest, and stuff. I'm not sure how accurate it looks to his quarter midget and stuff. And, you know, sometimes when drivers are back to themselves, you want it to be a good one. And this, honestly, in my opinion, it's okay, but not a lot of people are gonna get his quarter midget and stuff, because Logano's not really that famous when it comes to NASCAR popularity, and he hasn't really been into the sport that long to where, who you want to throw, who have you always wanted to throw back to? Oh, I've always wanted to throw back to Joey Logano's quarter midget car, bro. I've always wanted to. I mean, no one's gonna get that. I mean, I'm just being totally honest. So, but as a paint scheme, that scheme actually looks pretty good. But as a throwback and stuff, I'll have to say it's also pretty decent. So with those mixed reviews, I'm gonna give it a, I'll probably give it a 7.5. I'll give it 7.5. I would say between a 7 and an 8. Next up, we have Bubba Wallace's Money Lion car throwback. This is a similar paint scheme that Bubba Wallace had for his late model car back in 2008. So this is kind of the same situation with Joey Logano, to where not a lot of people are going to get that and stuff. Not a lot of people know the history of Bubba Wallace and stuff. And the paint scheme looks decent and stuff, but to my opinion, it actually kind of looks ugly and stuff, because this kind of green, it's not really my cup of tea and stuff, and just the black in the back, I mean, it's okay, but in my opinion, it doesn't really look that cool and stuff. So I'd say it does look worse than the Logano one. So for this one, sorry, Bubba, I'm gonna have to give you a 5 out of 10. I'm sorry, bro. This one's just not hitting. It's not hitting for me. Yes, William Byron's throwback to Jeff Gordon's 2007 DuPont scheme. This one, fantastic. It's very accurate. Got the flames, got that back from the mid to late 2000s, got the 24 and stuff. Some people just don't like how the 24 is just all slid all the way up, so I can kind of see that. But this one, in my opinion, is definitely one of the best ones and stuff. And hey, Byron, he just got a contract extension with Hendrick Motorsports till 2025, so I'm actually gonna give him a good score for this one. So for William Byron, I'm gonna give him a 9 out of 10. This one is a very hot paint scheme. Next up, we have Cole Custer throwing it back to Jason Leffler. Jason Leffler ran a similar scheme to this one back in 2003-2004, and the reason why they're throwing it back to him because he was the first driver to get Haas Incorporated their first win in NASCAR and stuff. And to be honest, this is actually a pretty accurate throwback. I just saw it. It looks pretty accurate. But the thing is, in my opinion, this car is ugly. I don't like this one. When I mean, it's cool you're throwing back to Jason Leffler, and you know he was the first driver to get Haas their first win in NASCAR. But he did it in such an ugly scheme. I'm sorry, this scheme, it's not hitting for me. This is Who did I gave Christopher Bell the worst one. Custer, I'm sorry, buddy. I have to give you a 2 out of 10. This also, this one is not hitting for me either. I'm sorry. This is, it's cool. I mean, it's cool that you're throwing it back, but the throwback concept that they're doing, it's ugly and stuff. It's accurate to what it is as a throwback, but I don't like it. You know, I feel bad and stuff, Custer. I'm going to give you 3 out of 10. I'm not going to give you a 2. I'm sorry. But yeah, this one, I'm not a big fan of it. Now, this one is hot. I do love this one. Ty Dillon is throwing it back to Lee Petty when Lee Petty won the 1959 Daytona 500. I love this one. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. There are even some schemes back in the day that could be almost as plain as this, but still, for some weird reason, look pretty cool. I mean, the number, Lee Petty drove the 42, and you have the number font correct. You have, like, the stripe that he has down the middle, 315 horsepower. Petty GM, it is beautiful. I do love this one. So, Ty Dillon, you're definitely running a good one for this season of throwback. So, I'm going to give you a 9 out of 10. This one is hot. This one is hot. I really do like this one. Bruh, Petty GMS, they did it this year. They did it. Now, Eric Jones is throwing it back to Richard Petty, who ran this car in the 1959 Daytona 500 alongside with his brother. This one, I think I kind of like this one better because it's blue and stuff, but this one is still a very good looking paint scheme in my opinion. So I'm also gonna put this in at the category because yeah, definitely Jones and Ty Dillon, they definitely hit it off this season with throwbacks. This is a very hot paint scheme in my opinion. Could be the contender for first. I just like this one, but this is a render and stuff. It's not actually what we're gonna see on track and stuff, but it just looks cool. I just like the throwbacks that they do to their bosses and stuff. It's like very cool. Next up, we have Kurt Busch. He is throwing it back to Bill Elliott's 1996 McDonald's car. This one, it's also pretty decent looking and stuff. It's very accurate. The one thing that kind of throws off is that you have the Monster Energy logo in the back and stuff, just like the random black and stuff coming out of nowhere. So it kind of throws the scheme off, but it is pretty accurate and stuff. They have the number font pretty accurate and stuff. It's actually pretty decent looking in my opinion. It's just that the black in the back kind of like throws it off a bit. So I'm gonna give this one I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. It's solid. It's a solid one. Next up, my boy Alex Bowman is throwing it back to Mark Martin's 1992 Valvoline scheme. This scheme is also pretty hot in my opinion. I do love it. The one thing that kind of throws me off is that it's throwing it back to 1992. He did not have a blue number. The number was actually white, but I can see what they kind of had to make it blue and stuff because the number was slid forward, that you have the white up there and it kind of blends in with that. So I see where they're coming from and stuff, but it's still a very solid scheme. So I'm gonna have to give it an 8 out of 10 and stuff. It's really good looking. And then next up, we have BJ Mcleod throwing it back to his 2004 Super Late model. So once again, going back to the Bubba Wallace, going back to the Joey Logano. It's okay and stuff. I mean, you have Josh Williams doing the exact same thing, but it looks better on his car because when you have BJ Mcleod, where are your sponsorships? I mean, I don't know if BJ Mcleod had a sponsor on his 04 late model and stuff. I mean, this could be as accurate as it gets and stuff, but still, just the number placement in with the flames and stuff, it kind of throws me off. It doesn't look better than the Logano quarter midget throwback, but it does look better than the Bubba Wallace one. So Logano I gave a 7.5, Wallace I gave a 5, so I'm gonna give BJ Mcleod fitting, I'm gonna give him a 6 out of 10 and stuff. Alright guys, so that's gonna do it for the throwbacks right there. So we have looked at all the ones that I think as of now are going to be run this upcoming Sunday on Mother's Day, so should be a fun race. Now it is time to rank which are the top 3 favorites, which 3 throwback paint schemes are on the podium. So let's go ahead, start off. Third place podium driver, it is Ross Chastain's throwback to Dale Jr. I do just really like this one. I like the combination because, you know, black and white go together and you add a bit of red here and there. It does look very good. I mean, this looks very old, very retro, like something back in the 90s and stuff. Like you could see like something like this up in like an old bar or something. It looks very cool. I do really like this. Glad Trackhouse is going to be throwing it back and stuff just to DEI and stuff. And hey, remember, Ty Norris now part of Trackhouse Club and stuff, and he was originally part of DEI, so it's really cool. And this car is just very accurate to what Dale Jr. ran back in Japan, so really cool. So I'm going to give Chastain third place. Now on the second place on the podium, this one by Ty Dillon, easily second place. This car just looks awesome. I don't know if it's just the render, but I'll see how the actual one looks like. But this one is just special. This one is a beautiful one. It is just very old school, very throwback like, and you're just throwing it back what to the late 50s, okay? We're in 2022, okay, and this was back in what, 1959. So if you do the math correctly, then that was what, like I think it was like 63 3 years ago, something like that, 63, 62, 63 and stuff, but still very hot looking paint scheme. Not Chastain, I was saying Chastain because of the 42 car, but very hot paint scheme that Ty Dillon's going to be running this weekend. Hopefully looks pretty good, because this is just a render, so hopefully the actual car looks pretty good, but this is still a very hot throwback and stuff. And I just like the 42 number in the back. Oh my goodness, I really do love this one. This is number 2, but the winner of this year's throwback competition, in my opinion, is Erik Jones, hands down. You can't have a throwback weekend without having someone, at least 1 or 2 people, throwing it back to Richard Petty. The 43, I really do love this one. The focus factor, the font fits in with the 43, got the orange number. It's just so beautiful. I love this paint scheme a lot, in my opinion. It looks very amazing. I can't wait to see this one out on track for practice and qualifying, and for the actual Southern 500 race. This one is hot, in my opinion, and stuff. So this is my favorite throwback paint scheme of 2022. Back in 2020, it was Jimmy Johnson's Richard Petty, Dale Earnhardt throwback combined and stuff, and the outfit Jimmy Johnson had was beautiful. And then last year, it was Austin Dillon's throwback, I believe, to Fireball Roberts and stuff. That was my favorite from last year. And this year now it's Erik Jones. So really cool throwback right here. Erik Jones, my favorite for 2022. Also, something to point out here, Erik Jones, I said he has my favorite throwback paint scheme of 2022. Let's not forget, if you guys remember the Pro Invitational race at Darlington last year, they ran the next gen car in iRacing, and Erik Jones won. So, is that ringing a bell? We'll have to wait and see until Sunday. But that will do it for today's video. So guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know down in the comment section below which one is your favorite throwback paint scheme of the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series season. Also, guys, if you guys want to check out my gaming channel, NASCAR Gaming 48, link will be down in the description below. I uploaded a video earlier up on the channel today, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more. And also make sure you go check it out, because it was a good one. If you want to check out my Instagram, link will also be down in the description. And subscribe to this channel. Really appreciate you guys. Let's get these view counts up. I do really appreciate you all. You guys are the best. So that's gonna do for today. See you guys in the next one. We'll have the Darlington review up on Sunday. Have a great rest of your day. This is NASCAR Mobile 48. Peace out.